Hi honeys, it's Michelle. In today's video, I'm going to do something very different from what I've ever done. I'm going to do a romance book haul. And the reason I'm doing that is I'm going to step outside of my comfort zone and do a book-a-thon. And the one that I'm doing, a fellow booktuber is putting on, it's a romanceathon. It's 6 days of reading nothing but romance books. Which the whole idea is outside of my comfort zone. I usually read books very slowly. I like to savor them. If it's a 300-page book, it's going to take me 3 or 4 days to read it. But not in a couple weeks. In a couple weeks, I'm going to just go all out and just see what I can do. Can I achieve this? Can I read the amount of books I usually read in a month in 6 days? It's definitely going to be a challenge because I have a full-time job. But isn't that what life is about? Doing things we've never done before and stretching ourselves to see what we're capable of. So it's going to be 7 books in 6 days, and I bought 6 of the 7 books. The other one I just purchased a month ago. I thought, why not just do a haul? How fun would that be, right? So you get to hear about these books. I'm going to read the synopsis for each of them. And there's a whole list of different subjects for each day or each book that we're doing in this romanceathon. The booktuber that put this all together did a video explaining the whole romanceathon. I'm going to go ahead and link her video up here, and I will also put the link down in the description box. If you want to join me, I would love it, but let me know that you're going to join me. Maybe we can chat a little bit about how it's going for us while it's going. She's got a website set aside that has, gosh, there's probably 25 to 50 books in each category that have been selected in the past or that other people that are part of her book club have selected. And I pretty much stuck with books in each category. It made it easier to figure out which ones I wanted to do. There's one book where I strayed a little bit, and I might have strayed too far. I'll explain that later. I'm going to tell you each of the categories, what book I chose, and so on and so forth. The romanceathon goes from June 12th to the 18th. Just to let you know too, in case you want to do it with me. I will be doing another video after I've done it, letting you know how it went, how I did, and what I thought of each of the books that I read. I don't know if I've told you this before or not. I don't really read romance novels. I read one last year, just one, and it was The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. But I thought, why not read more? Why not go outside of my comfort zone? I might find an author that I really like. But I have not regularly read romance novels since I was in high school or in my early 20s. The first category is cover love, a cover you love. And the one that I chose was Midnight at the Blackbird Cafe by Heather Weber. Nestled in the mountain shadows of Alabama lies the little town of Wicklow. It is here that Anna Kate has returned to bury her beloved Granny Z, the owner of the Blackbird Cafe. It was supposed to be a quick trip to close the cafe and settle her grandmother's estate. But despite her best intentions to avoid forming ties or even getting to know her father's side of the family, Anna Kate finds herself inexplicably drawn to the quirky southern town her mother ran away from so many years ago, and the mysterious blackbird pie everybody can't stop talking about. As the truth about her past slowly becomes clear, Anna Kate will need to decide if this lone blackbird will finally be able to take her broken wings and fly. Doesn't this cover look yummy though? How appetizing is blueberry pie? Sounds amazing. I kind of want to make some now. But then I'd have to find a recipe and go to the grocery store. It sounds so good. I bet I will when I read this book. I probably will make some blueberry pie. This book is 333 pages long. That's a lot for one day. And I got this book at Better World Books. It was kind of nice because these books aren't new releases. Some of them came out last year, but it was easy to go to multiple different sites and just pick which place had the best price. So I ended up getting 4 books from Better World Books, 2 books from Amazon, and the other book, the one I already owned, I bought about a month ago at the Dollar Tree. The next category is BIPOC author, an author that is Black or an Indigenous person of color. Okay. The book that I selected was The Wedding Date by Jasmine Guillory. I vow to take thee as my date, to pretend, to have and to hold, from rehearsal dinner to reception end, till Sunday do us part. Agreeing to go to a wedding with a guy she gets stuck with in an elevator is something Alexa Monroe wouldn't normally do. She's definitely not the spontaneous type, but there's something about Drew Nichols that's too hard to resist. Drew has never found it hard to meet women, or just to know when to leave them. But now, on the eve of his ex's wedding festivities, he's minus a +1, until a power outage strands him with the perfect candidate for a fake girlfriend. From the best man's toast to the bouquet toss, Alexa and Drew have more fun than they ever thought possible. But before they know it, Drew has to fly back to Los Angeles, and his job is a pediatric surgeon. And Alexa heads home to Berkeley, where she's the mayor's chief of staff, and neither of them can stop thinking about the other. They're just 2 high-powered professionals on a collision course toward the long-distance dating disaster of the century, or closing the gap between what they think they need and what they truly want. I thought this one sounded like such a fun, happy, lighthearted book. It is 323 pages long. Ooh, that's a lot in one day. The third category is a book out of your comfort zone. I didn't have a hard time finding one of these, you know. Am I a prude? I really don't think I am, but I've never read an erotic novel before. And here's one. It's written by Anne Rice. She wrote it under a name I can't pronounce. It's The Claiming of Sleeping Beauty. In the traditional folktale of Sleeping Beauty, the spell cast upon the lovely young princess and everyone in her castle can only be broken by the kiss of a prince. It is an ancient story, one that originally emerged from and still deeply disturbs the mind's unconscious. Now, Anne Rice's retelling of the beauty story probes the unspoken implications of this lush, suggestive tale by exploring its undeniable connection to sexual desire. Here, the prince awakens beauty, not with a kiss, but with sexual initiation. His reward for ending the 100 years of enchantment is beauty's complete and total enslavement to him. As Anne Rice explores the world of erotic yearning and fantasy in a classic that becomes, with her skillful pen, a compelling experience. So I'm just going to leave this over here next to you. And we'll talk about it again when I do my review. The next category is an indie book that was published independently by the author. The Kiss Thief by L.J. Shen. They say your first kiss should be earned. Mine was stolen by a devil in a masquerade mask under the black Chicago sky. They say the vows you take on your wedding day are sacred. Mine were broken before we left the church. They say your heart only beats for one man. Mine split and bled for two rivals who fought for it until the bitter end. I was promised to Angelo Bandini, the heir to one of the most powerful families in the Chicago outfit. Then taken by Senator Wolf Keaton, who held my father's sins over his head to force me into marriage. They say that all great happy love stories have a happy ending. I, Francesca Rossi, found myself rewriting and erasing mine until the very last chapter. One kiss, two men, three lives, entwined together. And somewhere between these two men, I had to find my forever. Hi, Marty. My cat Marty's here. Hi, baby. Did you see my last video when I did that reading vlog? If you did, you would know that he made, two appearances in that video. He did a little cameo when I was doing my little reading montage, and he was laying with me in bed when I was talking about the book one night. Marty, stop. This book is 302 pages long. And I got this one at Amazon. The other 3 books so far I got at Better World Books. The next category is favorite romance author's backlist title, which is an older title by your favorite romance author. Well, that was a hard one for me because I don't have a favorite romance author. I don't typically read romance novels. I thought, well, I did really like The Unhoneymooners, but I only read that one book by Christina Lauren. And I know that's actually 2 authors that write together, but still, I've only read one book by them. I don't know if I could classify them as my favorite author when I've only read one of their books. So I thought long and hard about it, and I remembered in high school and in my early 20s, I did read a lot of Jude Deveraux. So I decided to go ahead and give one of her old books a shot. The one that I chose was The Mulberry Tree. For nearly 20 years, quiet, unassuming Lillian Manville has devoted herself to her self-made billionaire husband and enjoyed a luxurious life of splendid homes, trips, jewels, and clothes. But when James Manville dies in a plane crash, Lillian's grief is compounded by a shocking mystery. All that Jimmy has left to her is an old farmhouse in tiny Calburn, Virginia. Now Lillian's unexpected circumstances are leading her to a made-over life in Calburn, an exciting business, and a sweet new love with a handsome local man. But will she have the courage to unveil the truth surrounding a past scandal and the loss of her husband? The answers may be as close as the mulberry tree in her yard, and Lillian must dig deep within herself to fight the secrets and lies that threaten to uproot the past she cherished and the future she treasures. This lush bestseller shines with passion, intrigue, and warmth that is Jude Deveraux at her best. This one is .435 pages long. I also got this at Better World Books. Next category is a read from a new author, meaning a new-to-me author, someone I haven't read before, which was really easy to find. I hadn't really read anything from any of the authors in there. The one that I chose, I've heard a lot of good things about, and I'm super excited to read. And I thought, well, plus it's towards the end of this. Maybe I'll read a little faster knowing I can get to this one, which I think I'm going to love. It was Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. And this is the first in a trilogy that she wrote. I think each one is about a different sister, Brown sister. Chloe Brown is a chronically ill computer geek with a goal, a plan, and a list. After almost, but not quite, dying, she's come up with 7 directives to help her get a life, and she's already completed the first, finally moving out of her glamorous family's mansion. The next items: enjoy a drunken night out, ride a motorcycle, go camping, have meaningless but thoroughly enjoyable sex, travel the world with nothing but hand luggage, and do something bad. But it's not easy being bad, even when you've written step-by-step guidelines on how to do it correctly. What Chloe needs is a teacher, and she knows just the right man for the job. Redford Red Morgan is a handyman with tattoos, a motorcycle, and more sex appeal than 10,000 Hollywood heartthrobs. He's also an artist who paints at night and hides his work in the light of day, which Chloe knows because she spies on him occasionally, just the teeniest, tiniest bit. But when she enlists Red in her mission to rebel, she learns things about him that no spy session could teach her, like why he clearly resents Chloe's wealthy background, and why he never shows his art to anyone, and what really lies beneath his tough exterior. If you've read that or any of these books, let me know. I want to know. Also, that last book I got on Amazon. And then the last book, now this one's a little bit of a stretch, okay? It says, a hate to love trope. Well, if I'm honest with you, I'm not really a fan of hate to love tropes. I kind of feel like they're not very realistic. For me personally, I've never just decided that, you know what, I kind of like that guy that I used to hate, right? That's just me, but I haven't. I did find this book at the Dollar Tree, and I don't know if it qualifies as a hate to love, so let me know what you think. It says on the front that it's a second chance at first love, but to me, it's a first love that she now hates. So isn't that a hate to love? I don't know. Sophia has 7 days left in Tokyo before she moves back to the States with her family. 7 days to say goodbye to the Electric City, her wild best friend, and the boy she has harbored a crush on for the past 4 years. 7 perfect days. That is, until Jamie Foster Collins moves back to Japan and ruins everything. Sophia and Jamie have a history of heartbreak, and the last thing Sophia wants is for him to steal her leaving thunder with his stupid arriving thunder. Yet, as the week counts down, Sophia is forced to admit that she may have misjudged Jamie. But can their 7 short days of Tokyo adventures end in anything but goodbye? A funny and heartfelt debut novel filled with first kisses and second chances. So I don't know if that's a love to hate or not, but I thought it kind of is, right? I mean, if you want to talk about real hate, think about how you feel about your exes. Well, thank you so much for going down this uncomfortable rabbit hole with me. I think this will be really fun. I think it'll be fun to do something new. I just feel like that's what life is all about, is stepping outside of one's comfort zone, doing something they've never done before. Why not do a readathon? And why not have my first readathon be a genre that I don't typically read? The worst that could happen is I don't enjoy it. So, Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day or night. I love you. Bye.